Marion from Attire and Beyond in Highland, New York. We sell new and pre-loved clothing, gifts, trinkets, treasures, knickknacks, whatever you want to call them. And I am doing a reading of my book that I wrote about 7 years ago, and we are on a new chapter. So all of them will be listed in the order number 1, number 2, number 3. I started with the dedications, and now I am on Never Ever Give Up. And this literally is a sentence or two. Never giving up is also an attitude. As you read this story and see how a never give up attitude can change your life, even in the most trying times. Oh, listen to this story. I still keep in touch with most of these people, and I still have them on my Facebook page and all my social media, so I can keep up to date. The name is Determined to Overcome My Disability, written by Jim Stevens. In 1970, while a sergeant in the Army, I was shot in the head during a combat mission in Vietnam. It left me with bullet fragments in my head and severe migraines. 23 years later, in 1993, the fragments caused a stroke in my ventral cortex, leaving me suddenly and legally blind, with only a pin dot of vision remaining in both eyes. Imagine that. I lost my job teaching at the University of Colorado. My wife left the family, and I was suddenly the blind single parent of 2 young daughters. I also stopped creating the artwork I had loved so much. In 2000, I was determined to reinvent myself and become a full-time artist despite my disability. I love people. Well, I don't just love these people, but I love when people really combat their disability. I began by finding a variety of special lenses to help with my technical skills, and then struggled to relearn my craft for the next 2 years. At the same time, at the urging of my daughters, I also began the unlikely study of the martial arts. Despite the setbacks and frustrations, I refused to quit either of my new life goals. Today, my art is galleried across the country. My work is collected internationally. I have written 3 books on art, published by Schiffer Publishing. I was recently honored by the Kennedy Center as a Kennedy Center registered VSA artist in both the visual and literary arts. At age 51, I also became the only legally blind man and oldest man to ever win the men's fighting competition at the Martial Arts Tournament of Champions, an event with martial artists of all ages from across the country. And my sensei made sure no one knew I was blind until after the competition was over. I left the tournament with a broken nose, 3 cracked ribs, a torn rotator cuff, a dislocated knee, and the first place trophy as tournament champion. I am also the only blind martial artist to ever be awarded a black belt in, I hope I don't screw this up, Shaolin Kenpo Karate. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have since also been awarded a black belt in Taekwondo Karate. Whenever I felt overwhelmed by the challenges in front of me, my youngest daughter would softly remind me, "Daddy, you promised not to quit." That little reminder was always enough to make me stiffen my backbone and keep moving forward in my life. I lost my eyesight in just 30 minutes. My career, my wife, my future, and my self-worth soon followed. I finally had to accept being blind, but once I did, I also accepted the fact that to have a life, I would have to reinvent my life. Today, and this was 7 years ago, so there's more. Today, I have a new successful career as an award-winning, internationally collected artist and author. Three-time Emmy Award-winning screenwriter Paul Cooper became interested in me and is working on a screenplay about my life. In his words, it's a story that needs to be told. P.S. Despite my accomplishments, I am still occasionally reminded that I have a visual disability. I recently tried to fix a small problem on the roof of my house, but fell off, causing a tear to my abdominal wall. At the hospital, the surgeon looked at me and said, "Jim, you're blind. We don't want you on the roof." So I wrote, I laugh every time I read that. P.S. If Jim's story does not inspire and motivate you to realize if he can do it, you can too, no matter what it is, I don't know what will. I think we can all learn from his courage and steadfast confidence that he can do whatever he sets his mind to. He certainly proved that. But Jim, stay off the roof. I love that story.